8 points apiece.
Thank you very much, George. It's nearly 7 minutes past 10. Good morning. Welcome to the programme. It's Wednesday morning. Victoria Derbyshire with you until Sheila's here at midday. Now, a former superbike racer who's been stranded in Dubai for 7 months after his wife died on their honeymoon has called on the British government to help him return home. 43-year-old Sean Emmett's wife, Abby, who is 27, fell from a balcony at their hotel in February. It was the last time he saw her alive. A coroner ruled her death wasn't suspicious. But as the couple had been drinking, Mr. Emmett had his passport confiscated and he was fined for drinking alcohol without a licence. Mr. Emmett lives in Surrey and is a 19 times British superbike race winner. He says he has no idea when he'll be allowed to return home, and the Foreign Office says it can't interfere in the United Arab Emirates legal process. And we can speak to Sean Emmett now in his first national broadcast interview. Hello, Sean. Can you hear me okay?
Hi. Yeah,
Hi.
I can hear you fine. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Thank you for talking to us. Tell our listeners what it's like for you at the moment there in this limbo.
Well, obviously it's really difficult because it's exactly that. There's no time scale on when this is going to end. It's very hard to get any information from the authorities over here, actually what they're doing. The last time I had any interview of sorts was probably 4 months ago, so I've really just been stuck here on a weekly basis, going back to public prosecution to find out, what's happening with the case, and week after week it's just a case of we still have the investigation still open.
Investigation into what?
Well, into Abby's death, although the police gave a statement out saying there were no suspicious circumstances, there were no charges. They recorded the death as suicide, which, I said it wasn't suicide, it was an accident. But since then, it's really very difficult to find out exactly what they are doing.
Are you under investigation?
Well, I don't know. I mean, that's what I've asked. I've said I've done every interview I could have done at the time, every test, forensic test, blood test, you name it. I've fully cooperated with them, and I just keep going back and saying, how can I help speed this up? What do you need me to do? But unfortunately, you don't really get much of an answer, and they just said, look, it's kind of go away. The investigation's still open. Come back next week.
Have you been able to grieve for your wife?
It's a difficult question, really. Obviously, it was a tough time on September the 10th when Abby's funeral was held in the UK, and obviously I was stuck over here. But I don't think so, really. I think at the moment I'm sort of kind of in this bubble, and it's sort of a perpetual nightmare, and maybe once I get home and see family and friends, I think that's when it'll really hit me.
Can you tell us a little about Abby?
Yeah, I mean, Abby was great. She was a fantastic musician. She was a percussionist. She played, in West End shows, The Lion King, and she played for Eric Clapton and Kanye West. Take That. She was a fantastic woman. My best friend, and we did pretty much everything together. She loved coming to the bikes and loved watching me race. So it was ideal. It was, we were peas in a pod, and it was perfect, really. And
you'd only been married a few weeks before she fell from the hotel balcony in Dubai.
Yeah, that's right. We got married. I did a race series over in a classic Grand Prix series over in South Africa. So we were going to be there for sort of 3 weeks, and we decided it would be a great idea to get married on the beach in front of Table Mountain in Cape Town. So I did the series, and I managed to win that. So that was great for the team, and then we went on, had an absolutely brilliant wedding. It was quite nice, exactly as we wanted it, casual, sort of low key. Just a few of the riders and the team owner and my brother and some good friends came over from England, flew over for it, and that was on the 6th of Feb. It was just brilliant, and then we kind of just honeymooned really in Cape Town. Had a brilliant time. And the reason we came to Dubai was that it just worked out on the cost of tickets, that if we flew direct to Heathrow from Cape Town, we could do the same but have effectively 2-3 nights in a really nice hotel suite in Dubai. So and Abby had 3 cousins that lived over here that she hadn't seen, hadn't been to Dubai before, and we kind of thought, well, why not? It sounds all right. But obviously didn't turn out anything like we imagined.
The coroner recorded her death as suicide. You say that's not right. Can you tell us what happened?
Yeah, I mean, we've been out. It was our first sort of full day in Dubai, and we've been hanging around. There was a tennis tournament on the Aviation Club, which is the hotel we were staying at. There's a big tennis club there in the Irish Village, and it was Ladies' Week, so we were just watching a bit of tennis on the big screens, and just having a few beers in the afternoon, some lunch, and just all within the hotel complex. There's various restaurants and bars and so on. And then towards the evening, I remember Abid had probably a bottle and a half of wine, a couple of beers, so she was pretty merry. And we were going back upstairs, and Abby went up, and I said, well, look, I was just going to watch the last 2 games Laura Robson was playing, just to see if she won, but she lost. So I went up to the room, and Abby had already ordered a bottle of white wine from room service, and I was kind of, do we really need this? But there was a bar there, the Cuba bar on the 8th floor, so I went to check if that was open, because they've been doing interviews in the day, so we thought it might be closed for a couple of days. But anyway, that was open, and it was a great bar. It had a kind of patio area, a great view of the cityscape. It is amazing. You have to say that at night. The view here is phenomenal. It's like Gotham City. But anyway, I got Abby and said, look, come on, let's go to the bar and just have a couple of beers. So I just really didn't want her to drink too much more wine. So we went there. We had 4 bottles of Corona each. We sat with a big fat American guy he was quite funny actually, and he'd been travelled to Dubai a lot and was sort of giving us guidance what to do, whether to do a safari or so on, just some ideas for the next day. We weren't there for long, so we just sort of chewing the cud really and saying, what do you reckon we should do? So that shut at 1 o'clock. So we went back to the room, and Abby was really happy and hyper, just having a great time, to be honest. But she got back to the room, cracked open the wine, so I had a coffee because I was just sort of I'd had enough really, and just thought I didn't really fancy the wine. She was just jumping around, put the music on the telly, mega loud, and jumping around on the bed, falling over, that kind of, just good spirits really. And then I thought, having been a professional sportsman, I know what it's like if you're in a hotel room and you've got, a big race, or for these tennis people, a big match the next day. The last thing you want is, a party, all-night party going on next in the next room. So I got Abby to just sort of said, look, let's turn the telly down a bit and the music down, and it's just that we had a cigarette out the window. There was no balcony, by the way, but that's it seems to be, every bit of press is that it was off the balcony. No, this was just if you imagine a tower block, just a sheer glass building basically. So right. Yeah, the window, you could slide the window open,
and there would be a sort of balcony type rail, but no actual balcony to step on. Yeah,
there's no. I mean, it was just, you looked out, it was a sheer drop. It's just the buildings you see, across America, everywhere in cityscapes, just those huge, great, shining, reflective glass buildings. So yeah, you could slide the window across and fit 2 of us quite snugly, side by side. And we were just outside, just smoking, having a cigarette outside, looking at stuff. And we were just chatting away and having a laugh. And Abby, our wedding rings were quite loose because the guy that made them a bit bigger in case of the heat and so on, whether our fingers got swollen up. But she managed to drop a wedding ring. So, we're 4 floors up, and it landed on... there's like a load of paved areas, and there's a lot of shrubbery. Like down below, it's just shrubbery and sort of sandy base. But I heard the ring go ting, ting, ting. So it's kind of bounced somewhere. And it was. I just said, that's a nightmare. that's going to be pretty hard to find. So we went down looking for the ring. And to be fair, Abby, she wasn't much good. She was. I wouldn't say staggering around, but certainly wasn't in a fit state to looking for a tiny little white gold ring. So I sent Abby back upstairs, and she was looking out the window and sort of pointing a finger, where she thought it might have been. And the manager of the restaurant came out with a torch, and he helped me. And 20 minutes later, we didn't give up completely, but we said, look, on his advice, look, just go to bed. There's no one around now. Get up dead early in the morning, and at first light, when no one's walking around, you've got a good chance of finding it. It might have just fallen in the grass somewhere, or in one of the shrubs, or so on. So that's what I decided to do. So I went back upstairs and saw Abby, and it kind of gone from one extreme to the other. Suddenly she become, not hysterical, but really upset, tearful, crying, sort of really upset about potentially losing the ring, and felt that she'd let me down. And I said, look, it's cool, we'll find it in the morning, it's not the end of the world. But she was then leaning out the window, and I said to Abby, don't lean out the window like that, because I could just see it was so precarious, and she was kind of on that balance point, or very near it, and obviously she was drunk. So I closed the window a couple of times, said, come on, get away from the window. But she insisted. It was one of those situations where the more I said, don't go near the window, the more she wanted to go near the window. So I said, all right, look, have a cigarette out the window. And she was leaning out the window, and I said, don't lean out the window. And I'd stopped her a few times, and I said, look, I'll tell you what, I'll go down, I'll give it 10, 15 minutes more looking for the ring. If not, I'll go down. As soon as it gets light in the morning, I'll go and get it. So she was, crying, and it was, I was just trying to calm her down. Said, look, don't worry, you're getting upset over something. It's not too bad. It's going to be fine. And we had quite a big suite. So we sort of had a kitchen and a lounge area and bedroom. Excuse me. So I went out, and I was in kind of the corridor. So it's probably about 10 metres away from Abby, and she's at the window, and she was looking around. I said, look, I'm going to go and look for the ring. Just stop leaning out the window, which she kept doing. I said, will you stop, please, leaning out the window? The next minute, just as I was about to go, I just saw her feet just flicked in the air, and just heard. There was no noise apart from a basic instinct, just that sharp intake of breath as she dropped, and I was just couldn't believe what I was seeing. So I ran up to the window, looked out, couldn't really see anything. So that's when I went obviously downstairs. As soon as I got out the lift, saw security, asked for ambulance. My wife's fallen out the window. Come on, and got through. I said, just ring an ambulance. Then I ran outside, saw a security guard. He said he'd seen something fall from the window. I said, yeah, it wasn't something, it's my wife. So I managed to obviously go below the window, through the shrubbery, and I found Abby just lying there on the floor. And it was, it was just like she was kind of just asleep almost. It wasn't, legs weren't bent everywhere. It was just like you'd almost laid her there. But I felt for a pulse, and then performed CPR, and just obviously I was kind of doing that that angry sort of crying, sort of swearing out, you.
Right, Sean Emmett is talking to us on Skype, so we're going to redial, and we will come back hopefully and continue our conversation in just a moment. Let's continue our conversation with Sean Emmett. He's a former superbike racer who's been stranded in Dubai for 7 months after his wife died on their honeymoon. He cannot get his passport back. He was explaining that he doesn't really know why. His wife died after falling from their hotel window, effectively, and Sean has just been telling us how that happened. Incredibly distressing. Sean, I think you can hear me now again, can you?
Yeah, that's fine.
Fine. You were telling us that you were feeling Abby's pulse, and what happened after that?
Yeah, I just carried on. I couldn't find a pulse, so I gave mouth to mouth and CPR, and obviously I'm not a qualified medic, so I was just trying all the stuff, the basic stuff that most people know, and just holding Abby, and I had sort of just crying on Abby, just tears, just tried for, I don't know how long it was, but till the paramedics arrived, but it could have been 20 minutes, could have been 10 minutes, but I was just desperately trying to get Abby to wake up effectively, or get a pulse or something. And that they arrived, and then obviously they took over, and the police arrived, and I just then went into giving them the interviews and an account of what happened, just basically where we out on the patio on the ground, for just telling them exactly what happened. Abby was taken off by the paramedics, and I could see them performing CPR and stuff in the back of the ambulance. I asked to go with her, but the police said no, you'll have to come with us. So that was it. I went off to the police station, and Abby went off to hospital.
I think when you were completing some paperwork at the police station at some point relating to Abby's death, you were then arrested.
I went in on it was the 28th of February. I'd gone in to sign the papers to release Abby's body as her husband. I just had to go in and sign his official papers. I had an appointment at 11 o'clock in the morning at Rashidia police station. So the night before, I'd met some, obviously I'm here now in Dubai completely on my own, no friends. My wife's dead. It's kind of pretty difficult, and as any Brit sort of does, when you're alone, you try and search out your own. So there's a massive expat community over here. So I met up with a guy, and he said, look, come out, I'll take you out for a beer. You can't, you don't want to be in a hotel room on your own. It's not healthy for you. So we went out, we watched some football at a bar, and then we stopped drinking about 12:30. I went to bed, got up the next day, had coffee, toast, just small breakfast, and went in to see the commander at 11 o'clock, and sat down at the desk opposite him, and he was saying, yeah, you okay? And I said, well, pretty tired, pretty stressed, but and then he kind of looked at me and said, have you had drink? I said, no, I had some alcohol last night, but I'm struggling to sleep and stuff. I need a drink. I just I need to get some sleep, and obviously you can't buy sleeping pills over here, not the prescribed ones, because that's a banned substance. So he then made a phone call and said, next month I was led off to be breathalyzed, and I had something in the region of 20-something milligrams. It was, it was under the drink drive limit. So, there's no way I'd have walked in there if I thought I was drunk. But unfortunately, over here, it's kind of not a sliding scale. If you've got 1 milligram or 1,000 milligrams, you're drunk.
Right.
You have alcohol in your system, it's end of.
Is it? Despite the fact that you'd consume the alcohol on in a licensed premise? Yeah,
it doesn't matter. The fact is, it's the same as people that have been arrested and jailed over here. Maybe, if they'd been smoking some spliffs, 3 weeks beforehand, if they get found over here with that in their system, that is classed as possession over here. So you were locked in a cell for 4 days as a result of that? Yeah, I was put in the lockup, which is kind of a sort of Lord of the Flies type thing. It's just there's cells, but there's no locks on them or doors on them. They're just open. It's just find yourself a space, and then just you have to buy everything, a mattress, and it's kind of self-run. There's no guards inside.
Right.
There's just the main door outside, and then there's like a speaker that comes out. We'll call various names. They go to the front door, and a guard will come and take them out. But the rest of it's just a bit of a free-for-all, to be honest.
And eventually you were fined for that, having that alcohol in your system.
Yeah, what happened was I when it came out, and they give you the for the prosecution, they give you the charge sheet, and it was having alcohol in your. Basically having alcohol in a public place. So, I was in a public place with alcohol in my system. And the court date was set for the 30th of April. And I was kind of thinking, wow, this, that's a long way off for this. But after various meetings, they said, well, no, it's just a standard. You're going to get a 2,000 dirham fine. So I asked, well, could I pay that then? And they said, yeah, you just pay the fine. So I went, duly paid the fine, got my fine certificate, and I asked about the case, and they said, well, it will go to, you don't have to attend court. It will just be rubber stamped. As, this is the case number, fine been paid, stamps, and on to the next case. So that was all fine. And at one stage, I'd asked for my passport back. And I actually got my passport back. I had it in my hand, which was, it was a great feeling. And I'd gone back to the police station because during my time in the in Rashidia police station, they woke me up at 3 a.m. and took me out. Some CID had took me out, and they wanted to show me all the luggage, our luggage, because obviously I still had all the luggage. And I said, yeah, fine. And they didn't believe. I said it was in the luggage room at the Panorama Grand Hotel, and they were saying, no, it's not. I said, but it is. So they took me there, and sure enough, it was all there. And then they just wanted everything electrical. So I said, well, go on, crack, what do you want? So they took our laptop, Abby's mobile, my BlackBerry, anything, a DVD of me doing a bungee jump in South Africa. It was just... So they took all that, and when I got my passport back, obviously I wanted all that stuff back. So I'd gone into the police station, seen a detective, and said, yeah, look, I had the sheet with all the stuff that they were holding of mine, and because a lot of the stuff, there were a lot of photos on that BlackBerry that hadn't been transferred anywhere. They were just of me and Abby in Cape Town, doing various things, on our honeymoon, so I really wanted to get hold of those. And I sat there, and the guy said, you got your passport? I said, yeah, I've got my passport back. I just want this stuff back, and then I just want to go home. And the next minute, he's on the phone, and he says, give me your passport. And then I gave him my passport. He puts it in a drawer. He said, no, you're not having anything. You go now. I said, well, why? I've just had my passport back. No. You go away. We still have to investigate. And so that was the start of a very long process of just being told. Obviously, I speak to the consulate, not so much on a daily basis now, but obviously they'll ring me if they get any updates. But after a while, you know what's going to come. If I phone them, I could badger them every day, and they're just going to say, we phoned them up, and they said the investigation is continuing, and that's all they're going to get. So, it's frustrating for me.
I was sorry, I was just going to ask Sean, you're in this almost like a parallel universe. How are you coping with that?
It's pretty tough. I mean, I'm lucky that I've met some really, really good English guys over here, and an Irish guy. The first guy I met, Dermot Hogan, was amazing. He just met me, and he runs the Arab Irish Journal over here, and he said, look, we've got this yacht going out just for a 2-hour cruise around the Burj Al Arab, and just have it. He said, just come on it, you need to. This was the first day that I'd after I've been released from the police station. So people like that just been, and there's people I've met here who would be friends for life, because they've just kept me going. They become your family, and you meet some that come and go, but there's a core of them that are absolutely unbelievable, and it's just just gets you through, to be honest.
Your own MP back here is Philip Hammond. Have you been able to contact him? Have you been able to
Well, I've emailed him, and I tried to get him to lobby David Cameron, because I knew that the Prime Minister was bringing up the case of the 3 drug offenders that got jailed here with the spice. So I was kind of hoping that, look, I've done nothing wrong. Could you bring my case up as well? But I got a reply, not direct from them, but it was from the Foreign Office, just saying Mr. Cameron will not be bringing up your case. So
in fact, had you done something wrong, potentially you might have, your case might have been brought up.
It's I mean, that's the irony of it, isn't it? You don't do anything wrong, and no one wants to help you, but you do something wrong. You are convicted of doing something wrong, found guilty, and yet they're back home and free. and I'm still stuck in Dubai. It's just bizarre.
So what can you do next, if anything?
Well, what's happened is, I mean, I've kept quiet because a lot of people over here were saying, "Oh, we don't want to upset the authorities, don't want to upset the apple cart. Just keep going through the due process, and you'll be gone soon." And I've been told all along the line from the authorities, from the police, you go. It's Palace next weekend, you're gone, finish. So that next week comes, and it's not. It's just like they move the goalposts every week. And then finally, when I apply for my passport. Back, I've even asked for a passport swap where someone lodges their passport and then I get mine so I can travel home. Because bear in mind, I haven't, I've just not been back. I missed the funeral. I haven't even been able to see, any kind of memorial for Abby. So I just want to get back, and they just, appeal after appeal, and it's just come back next week, and you go back, and it just. It's like that sketch where, it goes on the computer, it's just the computer says no, and back you go. So I just decided, David Miller, who runs Bike Sport News, a big motorcycle racing website, he contacted me. I've known him for years, and he said, look, I'm going to put something, because I said, I don't mind actually. I think now is the time. I need to refresh, because so many people, it's become apparent from Twitter and all the responses I've got. Didn't even realise I was still here. Said, I thought you were back ages ago. So because of this article, then somebody, a guy called Philip Evans, who's an ex-serviceman, I don't know him, but he was a big fan, obviously, and he decided to set up an e-petition to the government to try and get enough signatures where, it does have to be brought up in the House of Commons or the House of Lords, just to raise the awareness, really. And then there's been a Twitter campaign, there's been a Facebook campaign, and bear in mind, this only started last Thursday. I've now just got over 6,000 signatures on the e-petition, which is amazing because it's not quite as easy as just pressing the like button on a Facebook campaign. People do have to put, their address and email, receive an email, and then confirm so that they've done their vote. Their signature. So, I mean, it is admirable, and it's great that some of the UK public are taking time out just to, put a bit of weight behind it and hopefully put some pressure on someone somewhere to kind of just go in and say, excuse me, what is going on? This doesn't make sense. It's illogical. Why is he there? You just can't keep saying there's an investigation. What are you investigating? What on earth can you be investigating now?
Okay. Sean, perhaps you speaking out today will help. Thank you very much for talking to us.
No, you're more than welcome.
And
I just want to say thanks to everybody for supporting me, and with all your help, I'll be back soon. Don't worry.
Thank you very much, Sean. Sean Emmett.